You only need 5 things to double your property passive income. I'm going to break it down step by step, and although I'm relating it to a specific client of mine, lots of other clients have used the exact same formula and have had the exact same result, a doubling of their property passive income. It's no surprise people want to invest in property for 2 reasons: wealth creation and passive income. Now, I look at wealth creation as a feel-good factor, right? We feel really good when the value of our assets increase. Of course we do. We feel wealthier. But I also think that cash generation is equally important. And it's equally important because at some point in time, we are going to leave our careers. We're going to want to do something else. We're going to want to live the lives that we want to live. And without cash, we're not going to be able to do that. Now, this is a story of how I helped one client literally double their passive income in a very short period of time. Our first conversation together was all about SPV mortgage eligibility as well as property investment strategy. Now, when it came to eligibility, my client thankfully fit the criteria across 100% of limited company lenders, which was great because we can guarantee him the cheapest money at the time that he wanted to move forward with a limited company mortgage application. When it came to strategy, the question arose, where should I invest in the UK? The advice was, find a geographical location that historically has good capital appreciation prospects and a strong rental demand. Now, my client chose York, not just because he lives there, because he noticed that house price inflation was very strong historically, but also he noticed a specific tenant was seeking good quality housing on a regular basis, but was failing to find that good quality housing. Flats in city centres attract professionals, houses in good catchment areas attract families, and houses near universities attract students. My client noticed that in York, there is a very high demand for student accommodation. So he decided to go out, buy a 6-bed HMO, license already in place, made an offer, the offer was accepted. We then started to discuss SPV mortgage products. Now, because the property had such a high yield, he had access to both 2- and 5-year products. Now, I explained if he moved forwards with a 2-year deal on the basis that the property needed a bit of modernisation, looking at the photos, it was definitely habitable, definitely needed a little bit of TLC. Within 24 months, he could increase the value, increase the rents. We could then step in, refinance the property for him to move forwards with his next acquisition. Knowing that he wanted to expand his portfolio and he definitely didn't want to settle on one, the idea was 24 months fixed rate, refinance the property, release the equity, move on, purchase the next one. Moved on and started to discuss cash flow. Now, what I mentioned there was the utilization of net profits to use for modernization. Now, my client is a high rate taxpayer. He didn't need the net profits to increase his standard of living. So the idea was to reinvest those profits, perhaps at the end of the 12-month period when there is a changeover with students. So one lot of students move in, they then move out, and there's a window in the summer typically where new tenants are waiting to move in, and there was an opportunity there for my client to obviously carry out some modernization. I said, have a look at the property and note down everything that you can possibly do to increase its value. So my client had the plumbing checked, the electric checked, that worked out all fine, no need for any improvements on that side. But the kitchens and bathrooms definitely did. So my client moved forwards within that window, so it was about 11 months into the product, upgraded the kitchen, upgraded the bathrooms. Thankfully, because of the upgrades, was able to charge higher rents in year 2, which then resulted in a higher valuation, so commercial valuation on an HMO. At the end of 2 years, we then started to look at refinancing deals. Fast forward 2 years, clients installed a new kitchen and new bathrooms, has successfully increased the rental income from year 1 to year 2, and has increased the value of the property as well by obviously carrying out those modernization works. We then stepped in with a new SPV mortgage, so we effectively refinanced the property. He was able to release enough equity in order to move forward and buy his second acquisition. On the second acquisition, he basically doubled his property passive income. So within 2 years, he managed to take his property passive income from this level all the way to here. 15 years later, client sitting on a portfolio worth around 5 million, generating a whopping £45,000 in rental income every month. And the interesting thing about this story is 15 years ago, we had this conversation. And fast forward to today, the model hasn't changed. It's geographical location, property type in relation to the tenant, the correct product selection, modernization, refinancing, further acquisitions. It's very simple, and you can replicate the exact same success as this specific client, as well as lots of other clients that have done exactly the same thing. Now, if you're interested in understanding why savvy investors aren't necessarily interested in interest rates, watch this. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Please subscribe. It tells me that I'm on the right lines in regards to content creation. If there's anything that you would like me to shoot a video on, please comment below. I'll be more than happy to do that for you. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.